Can you mute that now, Mike?
Well, here we go. Welcome, everyone. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Welcome the Huerfano County Board of County Commissioners meeting for September 26th is now in session. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Commissioners, I have no change to the agenda as presented.
I would make a motion to approve the agenda with the following corrections, removing action items C, D, and E.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Sporleader,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreatta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes.
Consent agenda, Mr. Young.
All right, on the agenda for the day, I have the meeting minutes for August 8th, 2023. I have a pink sheet for Don Martinez. I have a wage increase for Christina Camacho, new hire Cameron Wardell, new hire Dan Matthews, both in the sheriff's office. A wage increase for Zachariah Warner, an increase for extra duties, a temporary increase for extra duties for Haley Coulter, Dreamer Ordovez, Kathleen O'Rourke, Andrea Montoya, and Karina Sierra. And I have abatement numbered 23-20 for Robert P. and Geraldine A. Binsky for 2021 in the amount of $221.28, and for 2022 the amount of $203.85 for schedule number 474758, and such a recommended approval. And I have an abatement number 23-21 for Will and Janet St. Jacques for in 2021 the amount of $1,552.83, and in 2022 for the amount of $1,310.94. Schedule number 474802, and they such a recommended approval.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda and state it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the consent agenda. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andreatta,
Yes.
Commissioner Sporleader,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes.
And now public comment. I bet the first name on that list is Al Meisner.
Yeah. He was.
Al, come up and state your name for the record, please.
That's couch potato material.
It's been quite a while since we brought us some reading material.
Yeah.
No kidding. Thanks, sir.
The only reason to fight to go to war is to kill opposing jocks, steal their stuff, cross-pollinate the species legally. The only reason to buy a house in Rockland County, Walsenburg, is to circumvent the IDC code and permitting expenses legally. Let the archangels build their own archbishop castles. They don't add value taxes to the community, bulldoze them. That's the road America I was going to fight and die for, if necessary, finish. Get rid of the IBC, this train has left the track. I call it down here, and there's two attachments. One is the senator from Utah, heard around the west. Pretty interesting. And Einstein's, probability, we keep doing the same thing again and again and again, but this time it's gonna work. This time it's gonna work. But we don't have, we're not gonna live to be 1,000,000,000 years old. Find out if it works. I don't think, I don't think I am, but maybe I. And I attempted to call. Carl. And I got no response, so maybe there's nobody home. You know.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Al.
Yeah,
Jamie Strickler.
This is also a copy of her letter, it's in correspondence. She's got it, I don't think. You want better advice than not at all.
Thank you.
Just repeat.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Can you please state your name for the record?
Jamie Strickland. Hi,
Hi.
so my husband and I and my son, we moved here in January from the East Coast of Pennsylvania. We bought 100-acre property out in Gardner. This, buying water, transporting water, bulk water, that kind of stuff is all new to us. But we knew coming into it what we were getting into, to some degree. So we've been here, 10 months now, and we're finding that we're running out of water. So we get the 2,500 allotted amount. And I'm asking for an increase of another 1,500 gallons a month. We recently, in the last 2 months, bought some livestock. And now I'm finding that I'm running out of water because I am watering the livestock from that. Not my intention to continue to water my livestock from that water because I'd like to drill a well. I'm also gonna build a large home on my property. But all that takes time and money, like it's $5,000 down just to get on the list to drill a well. I've also been told that there's a well on our property, but we haven't gotten there yet either. So I'm asking for an increase of 1,500 gallons. According to the rules and regulations, it says that we can purchase another 1,500 gallons per month for 8 cents, which is double what we're paying now, which I'm fine with that. I'm willing to pay whatever price is necessary. And I really don't think that we'll use the whole 1,500 gallons. It's also interesting that, I haven't. The first, I'd say 5 months that we were here, we weren't even using the whole 2,500 gallons. But I didn't realize that if you don't use that 2,500 gallons, you don't get to keep it. Like, you're allotted 30,000 gallons for the whole year. But if I don't use all that, then I lose it. So I would have done things differently had I known that I was gonna lose that water, you know what I mean? I get that the money rolls over, but that's still not the same. Like, if I'm allotted 30,000 units, it'd be nice to have those 30,000 units. It's just like heat, like we use more heat in the wintertime. In the summertime when it's hot, we're using more water, so that's what I'm asking. Which I don't think is a lot. 2,500 gallons really isn't a lot. I don't really know how much else we use back in Pennsylvania, but it doesn't seem like a lot.
they have a lot of water there.
So, that's all I have. I just really appreciate it if you guys could. Come to an agreement and
so-
really help us out here.
If I may.
Please.
So, I talked to our IT person this morning. The person that we have that was really familiar with this program is no longer with the county. She retired. And to set up a new
Is that Nancy?
Nancy,
She was
so
awesome.
she's awesome. To set up a new subgroup would be a training exercise. What I talked to him about, and this is what I would ask the other commissioners, if you would consider allowing a second account on the same property. So that would be another 2,500 gallons. So we don't have to set up another subgroup in
Right,
this
okay.
software.
'Cause you're
If
spending
that's acceptable to you guys, I would,
That'd be
because we have the bulk water. Augmentation water available, so this would be one solution that I would throw out there
sounds like a good one.
Of the 8 cents
instead of the 8 cents. No.
instead of the 8 cents.
This would be at 4 cents.
4 cents.
I think think if you do the math, it's actually 5 cents.
Oh, 5, sorry.
I mean, I did the math the other day, I was like, oh, it's not 4, it's 5, but that's okay.
Do you have any comments on that?
So in the past, this board has declined to grant bulk water permits for livestock. Can I instruct staff that they should not discourage people from coming forward for bulk water permits
So I
for
think-
watering livestock?
And I think that it was because we didn't have the available water, but now we have the available water and we have relatively strong assurance from the Conservancy District. If we need more water, we can purchase more water. So it sounded like to me that the water was gonna be available, so I would say yes, if there's, I mean, we don't need to discourage people with just livestock. I do, so the statement that she made really is encouraging to me that they are building a home. I don't
Yeah,
get
there's a
what's-
single wide on the property, which we're just living in temporarily, because that beat the alternative of buying a camper and living on a camper till we build, but this worked out perfect on this property. So, but yeah, we're gonna build and hopefully drill a well and all that stuff. I mean, we do have, part of Muddy Creek runs through our property. Muddy Creek is dry parts of the year that I'm finding out. And I mean, I do have, my neighbor's irrigation ditch does run through my property too, so if I put my animals down there, they'd be able to drink out of that ditch, but. I mean, I don't really want them on that side of the road. Just cause then I can't maintain, but they're not, they get across the street.
Lisa, any thoughts?
Tell me your specific concerns you're worried about if we allow for animal.
So we have historically discouraged livestock because we just didn't have the water. And I mean, the second thing is we really don't want to encourage illegal camping because Bruce has his hands full already. So
I think if you allow water use for livestock for one person, you're gonna have to do it for everybody.
I think there'd have to be a limit on the amount of livestock also, because that's huge. I mean, on other,
for a time,
yeah, some
Well,
type of limit.
the augmentation that we pay for through the Conservancy at 4 cents or 8 cents, you're at least breaking even for the augmentation for an acre foot. Okay,
that's what the price was based on.
so I don't think you need to address it until you run out of hog water, which doesn't sound like it is in the foreseeable future.
I have got an updated one out from judges on where we're at with our augmentation. We should have more than enough. Mainly because of that CTA agreement. We charge 5 cents. I think it's 5 and 9, 5 and 10. We
Yeah,
updated the rates last year. So yeah, I mean, I don't have the accounting, but I'm comfortable this year. This water year ends November 1st or October 31st. So sometime in the next month, you should have before you next year's agreement. And any amendment to this year's that the code district says we need, but I can't imagine that we do.
I also would like to talk more about the rolling 12 months for the 30,000 units. I never really thought about it that way, instead of.
Yeah, and up until
per
now,
month.
like, based on what I've paid in and what I've used. It's hard for me to tell, but I'm pretty sure that we're 10 months in today now. And I've used 15,000 units, like gallons, so that's even less than half.
Mhm.
So had I have had a cistern that was big enough and I held that water, I would have the water.
Mhm.
But I don't, and you lose that water, but if that's our water that's allotted to us. I mean, even if then allowed to be allotted to us, I mean, just like when you do your electric and stuff, like your heat and everything consumption goes higher at certain months, I mean, same thing is gonna be with the water,
Mhm.
so.
So I wasn't around when this was formed, of course. I would just caution you that if everyone's we know that usage goes up in the summer generally. I don't know if everyone were to say, take that whole yearly allocation, and there are folks that aren't here in the winter at all, and pile that into the summer. I don't know what that would do
I don't either.
to.
That's the rate of
How much
2,500 gallons.
Mhm.
We know, I mean, that's the rate of 2,500 gallons per month cap, not 30,000 per year.
Right.
2,500 per month cap, right? That's what you're saying? So
Well,
that,
that's
so we
correct.
would count. That's all, that's everybody's cap.
So,
So at 110 users at 2,500 gallons per month, that would be our maximum monthly consumption.
right, but I guess I'm responding to what I thought was a question about removing that 2,500 a month cap. That was a question I thought I heard.
I'm not
No, just give.
comfortable with that.
Okay, and that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. If that's what I heard, I'm warning you that is, I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I would rather see a second account with a time limit.
What do you want for a time limit?
I don't, you guys think a year, you think a year would be?
I think a year is reasonable. I'm waiting for my architect to get me the drawings, and then I just have to have them approved. I'm hoping to break ground by spring, so hopefully, once we get on the list for the well. We secure the loan for the build, we can get on the list for the well, and then whenever the well's dug, you know. I mean, there's other things that we'd like to try to do.
And good luck.
Help, but I don't want it to be, I don't necessarily need that much forever. I don't foresee that.
And John, as far as the camping permits, I would just advise to go to the land use office and you can apply for the camping permit.
They have a single wide.
No. Yeah, it's a fixture. It's got a
Okay.
foundation and everything. It's not.
Is that what you're concerned about?
No, I'm talking about that we have had a pretty serious issue in April, May, June in the past with people just coming in. Plopping their tent or their camper down and then coming to get the bulk water permit or one of the bulk water. We don't even. know
Yeah,
if
we
they're on their
definitely
property.
be aware of that. Make sure that we're asking the question, do you have a residence, where are they? Are you just popping down, like, do you need a camping permit? Yeah, I think that's definitely something we need to be aware of and start asking those questions to prevent that in the first place.
No, we're here to stay.
So does
I have a
that,
job over in Alamosa. My husband brought his heating, air conditioning job
yes,
here, business
and-
here.
thank you guys for doing that. We really appreciate.
Absolutely.
And we got the livestock so we can help the local farmers and cattle. Just have fun and do the things that we're supposed to do out here, in the mountains.
Amen.
So does that solution satisfy you?
Yeah, for a second account,
Second account for
that would
what
be
you,
awesome.
is that okay with the commissioners?
Yes, do you
Yeah.
need it in the form of a motion or does she need to bring a new application?
I
Both, probably.
don't know if a new application is needed, but certainly a motion for sure. I mean, I guess she already has a book water permit.
Right.
So, a book water account. So you're just creating a second account.
For anything additional, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same information. We just need to note that second account is open just for the 1 year. From
Right,
whenever
right.
we actually officially open it until that'll start the timeline, won't start today. Cause I imagine it'll take us maybe tomorrow to actually get open.
And you may have to, if the first account is in your husband's name, you might have to put this one in your name,
What's
just
fine,
Depending on
because
the
of
software.
the way our software works.
as long as you guys are okay with that, I think the property is actually in the name, as long as you guys are okay with that.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll note it on the account. That way we shouldn't lose track of it.
And I think we need a motion just for the record.
I would make a motion to allow Adam and Jamie Strickler to move forward with opening a second account on their Gardner bulk water account for 1 year from the opening of that account in the amount of 5 cents.
I'd second that.
I have a motion in a second. Any discussion? Anything else?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Odiata.
Yes.
Chairman Gucci,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Kim and Faith Bruner.
Morning.
Good morning.
The direction said to bring 3, but I know Carl has been in on this quite a bit, so there's.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, so my name is Kimberly Bruner and this is Faith Bruner, and we are here today to represent Upon the Rock Christian Camp in an effort to continue to express our need for the county to fulfill its obligation to restore County Road 421, which is the road that enables our organization and our neighbors, Russ and Becky Hanks, to once again have access to the entrances of our properties. The road leading to these 2 properties has been blocked for 5 years, but we have not had new flood damage for the past 2 years. Currently, the creek is low, and we're anticipating that the county can get some work done on this project before the snow flies, unless it flies tomorrow. This is the prime time to move forward. Based on our initial meeting with you on October 25th last year and the subsequent emails that are attached to this letter, our understanding of the steps in the road recovery process are as follows. The first step is meeting at the camp property with Mark Bruner, the county administrator, a commissioner, the county engineer, and the county building and road director, which that's been completed. Surveying the right-of-way for acquisition, which we think is possibly started. We weren't positive on that. The third step would be getting the ROW acquisition from the impacted landowners, which our understanding is that that's Frank Maggio and Linda Shea, Russ and Becky Hanks, and then Upon the Rock Christian Camp, which is represented by Mark and myself. And then flagging and staking the new roadway and construction of that road.
So we were very grateful for the initial meeting at our property, which took place on November 10th of 2022. And we're very encouraged with the plan that was devised at that time. Excited to know that with that plan in place, hopefully we can begin that construction that we're looking forward to doing on our camp facility within this year. Upon the Rock is an organization that ministers and assists numerous children and families, both in this county and in state at large. And we're needing to move forward on building our property so that we can hold all our programs here in Levita rather than renting facilities elsewhere in the state. This fall, we need to move forward in our building plans. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be hauling hundreds of bags of concrete to our well site, and we'll be mixing that with a hand mixer to pour the cement floor of our well house. The reason we're using this method is because there's no road access currently for a cement truck or any large construction equipment processes. So we're also needing our electrical power to be restored to get our water system running. But we're on hold with San Isabel for that process until we have a road that's reestablished. Upon the Rock and the Hanks, our neighbors, both have significant building plans in place. So we're here today to find out where you are in the process of reconstructing County Road 421. Simply because we can't move forward with building on a large scale until we have restoration of access to the entrances of both our properties. We're willing to help in this process however we can, just need to know how. And we ask that you would remember the project as you work on your current budget plan. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
May I? Or
I think you have the latest update.
okay, so from the meeting in November last year, that plan was to try to build that road kind of up out of the road or the floodway or the bottom of the canyon. We have looked at that recently, and it looks like the way to do it is going to be to basically put a culvert in the old creek bed, cross that and go into where that island is between where the old road was and the old creek bed, and then bring that around. It's fewer trees, a lot less material to move, a lot easier. And then that entire road access, I believe, is on Upon the Rock property. So we would move it from south to north a little ways, and it's all along your property. So then we could, if you guys are okay with it, we already have plans to move forward that way. I think that we have ordered a 4-foot culvert for the lower crossing as an overflow from the old channel. And then 4 24-inch culverts where the new creek is, where the old road is, so they can cross that to get to the Hanks property and turn into Upon the Rock.
Okay.
So is that your understanding of what was most
Well,
recent?
We hadn't heard from them.
So as we understand from the previous meeting, then the only thing that's changed is the position of the new road. You're going to maintain the beginning portion of the old road, and then you're going to be moving into, because I know that they had spoken about putting that new road there to the right of where the old road
Yes.
was. And so that's still the plan, but you had just,
I think it's moving it in between here now, in
Well-
between where the river used to run and the old road. You're talking about putting it in there, in that.
Right,
And-
so where the log closes the road right now,
mhm,
we would, from that point, we would cross the old creek bed. And just kind of follow the old creek bed a little bit south, and then right to your driveway.
Okay.
The only thing that I am not certain of is where that would be in relationship to your wellhead.
Yeah,
I think
well,
it's gotta be south of that.
because our wellheads are over here, and so your original plan was gonna be closer than what I think this current plan is gonna be, honestly, but. I'd have to see it, I guess, on a.
Yeah.
I'm kind of visual. So, but anyway, so you have the culverts ordered and you're moving forward. Is there any possibility of any of that taking place this fall, do you think, or,
I think
And-
absolutely possible.
okay? All right, that was just what we were just coming in to kind of find out where we're at. And is there anything we could be doing then to help you on this?
You guys need any firewood?
Yeah, we do burn firewood, so you're talking in the pathway, right? It needs to
Yeah,
be-
there's a lot of
Okay.
timber that has to come out.
Okay, yeah, all right, we'll tell Mark that and see what what can happen there, but and then there was one other question I had, well, I can't remember what it was, so sorry. All right, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, thanks for coming in.
And also thank you for your help with search and rescue. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
pretty neat.
Oh,
So,
Thank you.
mhm.
If that's all we have signed up here. Is there anyone online that would like to comment publicly? If not, we will move on. I see no hands. The next item is the appointments, and that would be Sandy Dolak with elders and youngers.
I'm Sandy Dolak, and this is the feel good portion of the week and the month and the year, you know, we have been doing some neat things in Huerfano County. And I think we're starting to make such a wonderful difference. And before I introduce Amanda Reese, we did the Future Town event, the Fox Theater on September 13th. We had over 150 people from Walsenburg show up. People are coming together, people are caring, people are seeing what's happening. And this is just so rewarding. So my ladies this morning, this is particularly fun for me. Well, they're all particularly fun for me. You guys know that. But I've got Carolyn Newman and Sister Carol. Now, when I first came to town in 2001, I was doing a lot of the women's health care, women and children, and the underserved, which is where my heart still pounds. When I couldn't figure out anything else, didn't know her from home, they say, call Sister Carol. So I call Sister Carol, and we got things done. I mean, she knew how to get through systems, get people delivered. was a little later in coming to the Carolyn Newman piece because as Nancy Christopherson said, you're a little bit old to start being a historian, but I am a cultural preservationist. You know, and I have loved working with Carolyn. So when we started our list of people that we wanted to honor, truly, you two were the ones that we had mentioned over and over and over. So you were at the top of the list. When we decided to do this month with honoring, well, last month I screwed up, gave Carol the wrong date. That's my fault. She was on it. I wasn't. But anyway, honoring people who have made a difference with young people in our community. And we're having a reception after this over at the Walsenburg Library. And we've come up with over 50 educators that have retired from Huerfano County school districts that still live in Huerfano County. And we're doing a reception there. I haven't advertised it to the public because there's only so much room. So anyway, I think it's really neat. So with a little spiel about Sister Carol, our little certificate thing, and my one for Carolyn. And Carolyn and I are working on all sorts of stuff right now because I'm doing the coal camps and cow camps. That's coming along nicely. And this is an aside. My son lives in Boise, Idaho, and has heard about what we're doing with the coal camp thing. And boy, have I picked this woman's brain. She's got a brain twice the size of her little body. But anyway, he said, "Oh, Mom, I'm sending you the coolest book. You're going to love it." He said, "Wait till you get it. Mother Jones." I said, "Oh, son, not only do I know about Mother Jones, I know Mother Jones." So anyway, and that will be November 4th, our coal camps and cow camps event. So Patty Martinez is going to come and talk about Carolyn. COVID's raised its ugly head in Huerfano County big time again. And I told her, she's tested positive today. I told her to stay away. But in meeting with people and working on my coal camps and cow camps, I've got the neatest feedback. Beaver Edmondson said you were his teacher in 1963. She was just a puppy and so was he. And he taught English, one of his favorite teachers. I mean, you remembered her like that. And then Mary Norby is helping me with some of Mark Wells' stuff, her dad's stuff. Said, "Oh, well, she was my photography teacher in 1980. 1981, I think
She was mine as well. Yeah. I graduated 82.
How many people in Huerfano County have been this lady's students? So, and then, you know, I've got such positive feedback about these being our choices and everything they've contributed to the community. So I just want to thank them. Becky's going to state a little bit more about Sister Carol, and I could talk about Carol all day.
There are, Bruce and Sharon were students.
Yeah, it's just, this is neat. And you know, this is the intergenerational kind of stuff. And a lot of the stuff I work on, what do I work on? A lot of the stuff that I'm really interested in, besides the cultural preservation, is erasing the stigma of ageism. You know, ageism is another ism that we want to erase. These two ladies, look at her not. Look at these two ladies that up here, they are not young, and they are still so vibrant and active in our communities. And they exemplify everything that ageism isn't. So I want to applaud them for carrying that back. Sister Carol would have to check her agenda to see if she wasn't hauling. This is the day that you used to take people to Pueblo. You know, if she could make it, she would make it, and she made it. So we need to honor our elders, and that's what we're doing with this program. And I so appreciate the county commissioner's support for it. So if Becky wants to talk a little bit about Sister Carol, oh, and I've got sweatshirts for you too. And then over at the library after this, from about 10:45 till noon, we are having a reception for as many of the retired educators and come. You're all invited. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Becky Bradbury. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about Sister Carol, but it's a very Reader's Digest version. Sister Carol Carolyn Ann Platch was born in Mason City, Iowa. She attended primary and middle school in a one-room country school in Garfield, Iowa. She graduated from high school and attended college, where she graduated in 1960 with a Bachelor of Arts degree with a major in history and a minor in education. She began her teaching career in 1962 and taught at schools in Iowa, Nebraska, and Colorado. Carol entered the Notre Dame Sisters in Omaha, Nebraska in 1964, and her formation continued there, as did her teaching. In 1986, she answered the call for a need for teachers at St. Mary's School in Walsenburg. She taught for 6 years at St. Mary's School. After that, she was granted a year-long sabbatical after those 6 years and 32 years of teaching. For 30 years after her sabbatical, the senior outreach of service was begun in October of 1993 in Walsenburg and continues to this day. October, this will be the 30th anniversary. For 30 years, Sister Carol has run the senior outreach for everyone that needs medical help. No one is ever turned down. Her only question when she is approached is, do you need something medical? Medical help includes finding equipment or other services, transportation to doctor appointments, medical treatments, or hospital. These services are many times out of town, Pueblo, even Colorado Springs. I don't know, you go to Denver?
Yeah.
Okay, Springs, okay. She also takes communion to many who are homebound, or maybe they just need her comfort, prayers, or a hand to hold. This is not a 9-to-5 job with weekends off. This is a 24/7 service that she provides with love, compassion, and patience, even while dealing with some of her own medical issues. Technically, Sister Carol has never stopped teaching. She is an example of selfless love and caring. She has a wonderful sense of humor. She listens without judgment. She gives so much, so quietly. She has true and sincere love for God and his people that emanates from her very being. We all can learn from her. Walsenburg and surrounding communities have been blessed by this amazing woman. As they say, someday there will be big shoes to fill, but I would like to add, someday there will be a big heart to fill. Thank you, Sister Carol, as you have taught me head to heart. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. I still have the pictures.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
You guys come up that way and they'll get a picture of you with the county commissioners. Anything else?
Thank you, ladies. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everything. Thank you, Carolyn, for Saturday.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That was very good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And my thanks to the county commissioners for funding this program. And the hope that it may be funded for another year. Little plug there. Thank you so much.
We share your hope.
Yeah.
And the next appointment is the coroner's annual report. And Bonnie is not.
Oh,
There's a problem.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We have a proclamation. Elizabeth Kelly.
Sandy? Will you take some photos for us of all the educators and send it
Yeah.
over?
Actually, that is criticism, and make some good photos for us.
Thank you.
Everyone will like it. But we'll have good photos.
Thank you.
You know that lady?
Nope.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Kelly. I am the Regional Long-Term Care Ombudsman for our bi-county area. I work for the Area Agency on Aging at the Council of Government. So we're just here to accept the Residents' Rights Proclamation that we've submitted, but I would like, if I could, just briefly to introduce a couple folks.
Please.
So with me today is Mr. Rene Salazar. He is a resident at Spanish Peaks Veterans Living Center. This seems to be our little section. And following Sandy, by the way, is kind of tough, but I'll do my best. And then Ms. Shauna Cook, who is the activities director at Spanish Peaks Veterans Living Center. So I work with her pretty regularly, and Mr. Salazar has been active on the resident council there. So that's kind of that's what we do. We represent the residents. So I handed out an invitation. If you would be interested, we'd love to have you. We've been doing something special this year for Residents' Rights Month, which is to host an art show. So we're having an art show in both counties, but here in Huerfano, we're going to be meeting up at La Vida Village on October 12th from 1 to 3, have a little reception. And I think we're going to have a couple folks from Spanish Peaks who will submit art. But this will be all resident created art around this idea of, how do you express yourself? How do you get your voice heard? And that's really broad, right? What does that really mean? Sometimes it's through, our words, and sometimes it's through how we express artistically. So thank you, and I understand the proclamation will be read by.
If with your permission and the permission of the commissioners, I'll read this. So this is proclamation number 23-04, and I am honored to read this. The Board of Huerfano County Commissioners of Huerfano County, Colorado, recognizing National Long-Term Care Residents' Rights Month, October 2023. Whereas there are 1.3 million individuals living in 15,600 nursing homes and over 800,000 individuals living in 28,900 assisted living residential care facilities in the United States. And whereas the Federal Nursing Home Reform Act of 1987 guarantees residents their individual rights in order to promote and maintain their dignity and autonomy. And whereas all residents should be aware of their rights so they may be empowered to live with dignity and self-determination. And whereas we wish to honor and celebrate these citizens, to recognize their rich individuality, and to reaffirm their right to vote and participate politically, that's a typo, including the right to have a say in their care. And whereas individuals and groups across the country will be celebrating Residents' Rights Month with the theme, Amplify Our Voices, emphasizing a community of long-term care residents coming together to make their voices heard. And whereas more than 100 individuals living in long-term care communities in Huerfano County. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Huerfano County Commissioners does hereby proclaim October 2023 as Huerfano County Long-Term Care Residents' Rights Month. Introduced, read, and adopted on this 26th day of September 2023.
Thank you. I'm wondering, can we do a photo too? Is there time for that?
Sure.
Okay, that would be great.
Let's have a let's take action on this first.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve proclamation number 23-04, recognizing National Long-Term Care Residents' Right Month for October 2023.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta.
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can we have you guys come up here too?
sure.
It's just falling off the block shape.
Thank you.
Where you want us? Want to come here? I think you kind of would start here, so.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't put your cup back this time.
What signatures on some of this work?
I have one other question.
Yes,
On here.
yes, please.
I just need to report tomorrow with the, what you were talking about, and we understood two different things. So this was what the original plan we understood was, but you're saying now it would go up here, right?
Yeah, so I think this is what we're, if I can do that.
Okay.
That's kind of what that's what we're looking at to get back, because of this, the streaming process here now, right?
Yes.
So we want, this is where the four culverts will go,
Okay,
this is where the big culvert will go. Here.
okay,
And then we should be able to get your access and then get all this.
perfect. Okay,
Okay.
thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one with wet signatures, if you want that. Coroner's report. Bonnie, you're up now.
Okay. I have put the coroner's report as part of our board agenda, and I'll just be summarizing it, but first off, I want to thank you for the opportunity to present the coroner's annual 2022 report for Huerfano County. The coroner's office is a statutory office, and we do follow the revised Colorado statutes to make proper inquiry and to determine the cause of manner of deaths within the jurisdiction of Huerfano County. The coroner's office follows a set of criteria that we need to investigate deaths, and if after a thorough investigation, we may determine that an autopsy is necessary. And all of our autopsies are performed by board-certified forensic pathologists from El Paso County's coroner's office. Other duties of the coroner's office is that we do oversee legal identification of the deceased, legal identification of next of kin that we need to notify, taking custody of a decedent's body and personal belongings, along with if there are discovery of remains we have to deal with. We also certify death certificates And the coroner's office oversees burials on private lands and cemeteries. In 2022, we had a total of 108 deaths in our county. 64 of those were non-coroner cases, and 44 cases were deaths that the coroner did need to go out on and investigate. And of those 108 deaths, we have done 18 autopsies last year. Every year, we look at the frequency of when a death has occurred, and every year is different. In 2022, October appeared to be our busiest month, with February and April following close behind. And the largest amount of deaths occurred on a Saturday, with Saturday and Wednesday, and the death primarily occurred between 9 and 10 a.m. And again, every year is different. It's kind of fun to look at. Statistically, our deaths are increasing in Huerfano County, especially with the homeless population, which also presents the challenge of finding next of kin. Many times when we are able to find next of kin with the homeless population, we find that the family relationships have been estranged over the years, and many times the family does not want to take responsibility for the financial aspect of their relative when it comes to dealing with their death. And so that presents the coroner's office the challenge of cremation or burial, and that financial cost does come back on the county. Under the Colorado revised statutes, we also have to determine if an autopsy is required. And because of this, our autopsy cases have increased. An example with motor vehicle crashes, in 2017, the Colorado revised statutes were changed, and we are required to do autopsies on all motor vehicle crashes, even though it seems obvious why a person would die from a motor vehicle crash. We do have to do autopsies now. And that is an increase, a financial increase to our county. Autopsies cost our county $1,500 per autopsy. To summarize the types of calls that we've had, we have hospice deaths, emergency room deaths, nursing home deaths, deaths in private residence, and then other locations such as highway, wilderness, public locations, businesses. Those are all some areas where we have been called out for singing. Out of those 108 deaths, we do have 5 categories that we determined what a death is. So we've had 93 natural deaths. We've had 13 accidental deaths, and that includes motor vehicle crashes, falls, accidental overdoses. We did have 1 suicide and 1 homicide. We have no undetermined cases and no pending for 2022. In Huerfano County, we do have more males who have died than females. We've had 65 males and 43 females. And the age range of our deaths this past year has been 4 years old to 99 years old that we have dealt with. For natural deaths, they occur slowly. The deaths occur slowly by the disease process, which includes heart disease, cancer, stroke, sepsis, diabetes, Alzheimer's, pneumonia, and chronic obstetric pulmonary disease. Huerfano County predominantly, the highest number of natural deaths were cardiac deaths, and that tends to go nationwide also. We did have 33 cases of cardiac related deaths, and that includes hypertension, high cholesterol, atrial fib, heart failure. And our second leading cause of death is cancer. However, that was the same rate, 16 people have died of cancer as in 2021. The cancer that we have seen is breast, bone, blood, prostate, pancreas, renal, and esophageal cancer. The third leading cause of death in our county is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and we did have 6 cases of that. We did see 8 deaths that were COVID related. Of those 8 deaths attributed to COVID, 1 was the sole cause. COVID was the sole cause of that person's death, and that person was vaccinated and fully boosted. We also had 1 case where we had pneumonia that was caused by COVID, and then we did have 6 cases that were multiple comorbidities that attributed to their death. We are unsure 7 of the COVID deaths if they were vaccinated and boosted. As far as accidents, that occurs when there is no evidence of intent. This includes motor vehicle crashes, falls, drowning, and accidental overdoses. We did have 13 accidental deaths in Huerfano County. 6 were motor vehicle crashes. 1 was an ATV. 2 were falls. 3 were drug related, and 1 was an autoerotic death. We did have 1 homicide, and that is a death that results from injuries inflicted by another person. This was a 56-year-old male with multiple stab wounds, was positive for methamphetamines and amphetamines. Again, no undetermined deaths and no pending deaths. As far as drugs go, for our accidental deaths, I just want to kind of go over that. 1 male for the accidental death, he was 70 years old, and he was involved in a single vehicle crash on I-25 around mile marker 40. And it was believed that he did have a medical emergency, and he was hospitalized and a month later died. Another female with a motor vehicle crash, she was in her 60s, and she was in a single motor vehicle crash on I-25 around mile marker 43. She was positive for Valium and antidepressant, and she was restrained. We did have 1 male, 38 years old, involved in a single motor vehicle crash on Highway 69 around mile marker 21, and he was positive for THC, and he was an unrestrained driver. We did have 2 females, 58 and 61 years old, who were involved in a 3-vehicle crash on Highway 69 westbound, mile marker 294. They were both restrained, and they were struck by a semi-truck driver who was believed to be impaired due to alcohol and drugs. 1 male, 55, was driving an asphalt truck on Highway 69 around mile marker 1. He was involved in a single vehicle crash where the vehicle or the semi-truck rolled, and we did find that he had fentanyl, methadone, and Benadryl in his system, and he was restrained. And there was 1 ATV accident that involved a 52-year-old male who sustained trauma to his head. This was due to excess speed and alcohol, and he was not wearing a helmet. We did have 2 falls in our, in Huerfano County. One was an 84-year-old female who sustained a fall in her home and suffered, bleeding to her brain. The second fall was a 33-year-old male who sustained blunt force trauma after falling 200 feet from rock climbing. We did have 3 accidental drug overdoses, and the drug overdoses include 1 female and 2 males. And the males were 58 to 62. The age of the female was 66. All drug overdoses involved methamphetamines. 2 had mixed drug toxicity of methamphetamines, cocaine, and heroin. And there was 1 autoerotic asphyxia death that involved a 60-year-old male who used a device to deliver nitrous oxide. And the fail-safe mechanism did fail. So that's gives you an oversight of some of the drugs that we're seeing and the motor vehicle crash. Our suicide, he was positive for THC. And another thing that we are overseeing in the coroner's office is we did see 6 burials on private lands and cemeteries in 2020. And we do GPS where the grave sites are and make sure that it complies with the statutes, and they are recorded with the county clerk to maintain a record of all burials. So that summarizes my report for 2022. As far as 2023, year to date, we've already had 90 deaths. We've already had 16 autopsies. I am seeing more drug-related deaths and motor vehicle crashes. So this year has already been a very busy year. But I just wanted to, go over my 2022 annual report with you and thank you for all of your support that you give the coroner's office. I feel I have nothing but support from the commissioners and administrator. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. Any questions?
Thank you, Bonnie.
No, thanks, Bonnie. That was great.
I would, just one thing I would ask you to maybe include in future reports would be, tendencies over a 10-year period. Just so we can see what, if there are some things that are increasing that we really need to deal with more.
Okay. Yeah, and we try and, that's a great idea. We try and look at, is there a section of highway that we're getting more crashes on, or what type of drugs are we seeing? Right now, I am not, for a couple of years, I haven't seen prescription drugs at all in our overdoses. I'm seeing, the drugs that come from the street. So, but I will include that. John, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
No,
Thank you very much. We don't need to take action on
good report.
approving that report or accepting or anything. I don't think we ever have. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Next item is land use, Mr. Young.
Nothing for land use.
Action items.
Commissioner, the first action I have for you today is purchase order number 148 for Convergent. This is for locks and security at the Digital Center in the amount of $7,740.
Make a motion to pay Convergent in the amount of $7,740.
Second?
So a motion and a second discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Jetta,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have a purchase order number 151 for Watts Upfitting Incorporated. This is for patrol cars, computer fittings for the sheriff's office in the amount of $37,197.19.
Motion to approve the purchase order number 151 for patrol car comp fittings by Watts Upfitting Inc. in the amount of $37,197.19.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. We removed items 7C, D, and E from the agenda, so item 7F is a general task order for on-call services from KLJ. This is limited to $10,000 per year without prior authorization, and is for random questions we might have for KLJ. Anything that turns into its own task order gets removed from that 10,000.
Motion to approve the task order for KLJ Engineering LLC for general on-call services in an amount not to exceed $10,000 without prior authorization.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you a grant application from the Spanish Regional Health Center for the Southern Colorado RETAC. The amount of the grant is $15,000 and there's no contribution required. Just a reminder that the county is required to submit this grant, even though we're not receiving the funds for the grant.
Make a motion to approve the Southern Colorado RETAC in the amount of $15,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a letter to the Southern Colorado RETAC updating our appointees. As a reminder, we technically speaking make these appointments, but they come from the ambulance services and emergency services providers in the county.
Motion to approve the appointments of the Spanish Peak Regional Health Center Ambulance Service RETAC board members. Would you like me to read them all?
No.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you the signature page for the Fox Theaters Phase 2 grant they're applying for History Colorado for. As the property owner, we are requested and required by History Colorado to sign for this grant if we so approve it. As you see, we would sign in the property owner line item. This grant will match if we're successful in getting at the DOLA grant that we applied for.
Page is that on? I
Page 90.
hit the wrong button.
Motion to approve the History Colorado State Historic Fund application signature page.
Second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a book water permit for William Duprez. I'm on page 91. Where's my letter? There it is. Land use reports that there is one structure on the property and there are no code violations. He has applied for book water permit to supply water using it for his cistern for household usage.
Make a motion to approve bulk water permit number 23-007 Piney Ridge. And William Duprez.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andreetta,
yes.
Commissioner Spurrier,
Yes.
Chair Magalicia,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioner, next I have a bulk water permit for Richard and Catherine Kadar. This is for their plans to build a home. The property currently has a barn, septic and cistern. Land use reports, no code violations on the property.
Where's the property located?
I have a parcel number. I don't have a. Oh,
Oh, South Winds Ranch. Found it. Thank you. Motion to approve bulk water application 23-008 for Richard and Catherine Qatar for a term expiring on 3/16/2024.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spurrier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chair Magalicia,
Yes.
motion passes. So, these permits have expiration dates,
They don't need to have them.
and unless you want us to cut off the account.
What is it has an expiration because of the
Yeah.
program, but it doesn't actually expire in the system?
Right.
Do you want me to revise that motion?
Yeah, just to make sure that we're clear there.
Okay,
Okay.
just a correction on the last motion, for it not to expire.
I'd second that correction.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spurrier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chair Magalicia,
Yes.
motion passes. All right, next I have a bulk water permit for the Hirsch Rocher Living Trust. They have applied for a bulk water permit for household use because of citing lack of water in the area because neighbors have drilled dry wells. There are 3 structures on the property and there are no code violations per the land use department.
You said this was for the Hirsch.
Yes.
Roche, it starts on page
Yeah,
101.
I've got it. That's right, make sure. Make a motion to approve the bulk water permit 23-006 for the Hirsch Living Trust.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andreetta,
yes.
Commissioner Spurrier,
Yes.
Chair Magalicia,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioners, this is your September vendor run in the total amount. In the total amount of $508,035.14.
I'm getting there. Motion to approve the vendor run in the amount of $508,008 and no, $508,000.35.14.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spurrier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chair Magalicia,
Yes.
motion passes. All right, commissioners, next I have. There it is. I did not. Okay, I have 2 quotes for. A quote from Lost in the Woods Woodworking for the Kansas building. Just, this is all one quote?
Yeah.
The amount of $9,850. This is for the door that was damaged.
And he mentioned he tried to get other quotes and was unsuccessful.
I believe so, yes.
Make a motion to approve the invoice, construction bid form from Lost in the Woods Woodworking in an amount not to exceed $9,850.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? It's been a long time coming. Thank you for getting this
Okay.
done. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Sporleader,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have three options for wood to seal the real Kachars in. The first is from Walsburg Lumber at a cost of $800.65. The second is also from Walsburg Lumber in the amount of $3,124.65. And the third is from Home Depot in the amount of $2,280.56.
Would the Home Depot order need to be shipped or would it be picked up? Or will they add shipping to it?
It looks like he has pickup in store as the option selected here.
Okay.
Just transport gonna be,
You know, I think that they would deliver that for free.
I wouldn't be surprised at that because of that amount.
I would ask if you guys want to move that forward with that, consider including delivery. If possible.
I would make a motion to approve the Home Depot Pro invoice in the amount of $2,283.56. Encouraging staff to explore options of free delivery. And also encouraging them to see if Walsmark Lumber could meet or beat that price. They've been successful in doing that in the past.
I would second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spooter,
Yes.
Commissioner Angela,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you a letter to the town of Levita. Sorry. Let's see. What's happening here? Why are these mixed up? No worries. Okay, so I have a letter for two Colorado Parks and Wildlife on behalf of the town of Levita for Kacharis River Trail non-motorized grant planning, non-motorized trail planning grant application.
Motion to approve the letter of support for Charles River Trail non-motorized trail planning grant application.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Sporleader,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you a grant, another letter of support for Southern Colorado Economic Development District, SCED. This is on behalf of their recompete grant application to work on the prime age employment gap in Southern Colorado. And of course, it is addressed to U.S. Economic Development Administration.
Make a motion to accept the letter for Southern Colorado Economic Development. Oops, on the right page. Letter of support.
Okay,
Have a motion, a second, discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andreatta,
yes.
Commissioner Spurrier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes. And that is the end of action items.
Very good. Staff report.
Commissioners, just a couple of highlights from my staff report. The Fox project. They actually met with the city building inspector this morning. And have the green light from the building inspector to proceed. How they're going to take off the roof is they're gonna do it in sections. There are, I want to say it's 50 10 by 10 segments. They're gonna take off one at a time. So the contractor is very confident in being able to keep the theater dry. They're also are looking to still trying to confirm how much of the roof they can take off. They did find that there are more layers than originally anticipated. There are actually 4 layers of roofing on the Fox, not just one.
Which will change their bid amount.
It will change the bid amount. In order to execute this project, I'll bring before you an MOU with the Fox. But we should be done mid-November is the current hope.
Just for the roof.
Just for the roof and the masonry associated with that. We do have 3 solicitations out. One's an RFP for business training consultants for the Wheelhouse, which closes this Friday. We also have 2 RFQs, one for a housing and mixed use developer partner for our affordable attainable housing projects. And the last is for a operator at Qatar Mountain Park. Not in the administrator's report is that last week we received word that the Court of Appeals denied our stay in the Solano case. In order to purge the contempt, I'm looking at Lisa, make sure I'm saying this right. We need at the very least a motion to begin the process of an additional appropriation in the amount of, I'm going to verify this before I read it up to you. In the amount of $162,000.
Make a motion to instruct the administrator to prepare a supplement appropriation in the amount of $162,000 for the district attorney's office.
That
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion for the public? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spurrier,
yes.
Commissioner Andreatta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes. That is the end of my report.
County Attorney.
I want to let you know, I'm working on the County Road 363 closure memo to you guys, advising on what we can do there. And I think we've got quite a bit of statutory authority to use. Also, we will be having an executive session about the fence line on the Malden Auto property. We'll need to talk about what we're going to be doing there. And I am working on retrieving the equipment from the sheriff's, well, from the jail that was taken by the previous healthcare provider. And so we need to get that returned. I'm trying to get the name of their council and then they're not providing it, so I may have to get creative with that. Working on it.
Okay. Correspondence.
Commissioners, first I have for you is a memo from CCI stating that the proposed their dues for Huerfano County for 2024 is $12,760. 9B is a letter from Hole in the Wall Ranch Property Association regarding County Road 363. Item 9C is a letter from the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs of the state of Colorado, which is a supplement to the Veteran Services Performance Audit that was sent earlier this year. Item 9D is your CAP monthly report. 9E is a technical update for CTSI on CDL regulations. 9F is another technical update from CTSI on safety committee functions. 9G is a letter from Adam and Jamie Strickler, who you met with this morning in public comment. 9H is a letter from Adam State. Thank you note. And that is in the correspondence.
Thank you. Executive session. Anybody want to read that? Okay, I would entertain a motion for an executive session for conference with the county attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS 246402-4B, specifically County Road 346 right-of-way encroachment.
So moved.
Make that motion.
Good. Second,
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Anything else for executive session? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Evans,
yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Commission,
Yes.
motion passes.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Just one question from the journal. And that would be, Carl, could you direct Natalie to send me copies of the wonderful pictures she took this morning with the commissioners and their honored guests?
You will indeed.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to recess the regular meeting to go into executive session. After executive session, there will be no decisions made or in executive session either. We are recessed.
Thank you, everyone.